Yo, what is up, guys? It is your boy AdrianGames or Adrian Reactions, whatever you want to call it, back in the building. And today we are here with the DH reaction. Clover boys cannot stop getting into any drama. So I'm gonna be honest, like I believe it was like I don't really know the story behind it, but I did see some clips of like stuff being destroyed, spoiled milk being poured on a bed or whatever, stuff like that. We're gonna see what this is about, but without any further ado, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what else you want to see me watch. And shoot, how's your day going? You know, y'all day been good and whatnot. I got a little cut today. That was about it. Other than that, let's get started with this shit.
Just because you say something is content, or just because you say that you're joking, doesn't dismiss the fact that what you're doing can be annoying. And not even just annoying, but what you can be doing is harmful and also boundary crossing behavior. You got grown men getting into fights, crashing out, dumping water on each other, and beating doors down with axes, all because of content. Content brain is something I've talked about lots of times on this channel, and it feels like none of these influencers can process that just because you're doing something for a joke or for content, that doesn't negate the fact that what you're doing is quite annoying, and it doesn't give you a free pass to be a dickhead, first and foremost. So today, twin, I just want to talk about this Clover boy drama. I want to give my opinion on it, and I mean, I just want to share the tea. So if it interests you, you might as well come and tap in. Comment for the algorithm. Just like LeBron James has his go-to jump shot, the Clover boys have their go-to form of content, and that would be war content. And the thing with war content is that it's low-key low-hanging fruit. It's not hard to destroy someone's property, it's not hard to go in someone's room and ruin things, and it's not hard to bother each other and be chaotic. This is not a bad thing in isolation, because it can be very entertaining to witness war content. Much like prank YouTubers, the issue with war content is that you might have to one-up your last spectacle in order to keep viewers entertained. And when these guys are navigating this chaotic war content with the content brain in mind, you have behaviors that can be kind of boundary crossing. And in a way, it's kind of dystopian because you have unnamed individuals cheering on people to do spectacle while disregarding others, because at the end of the day, they're seeking entertainment.
Exactly,
What started this whole drama. Cenat's brother Khalil poured spoiled milk on Dezz's bed while he wasn't there because he was going to get gifted 400 subs.
Yeah, I seen this clip. But bro, it look like some lotion like that. Some thick ass spoiled milk. What the hell? Like, and he did it for 400 gifted. I'm not gonna lie, I see where he's coming from and stuff. And that bed could have just got washed. It really could have, like, but let's see what they talking about.
And mind y'all, Dezz wasn't home when this occurred. He did not consent to this. There was no prior discussions of boundaries and what they were comfortable with in terms of joking. And another thing, bro, is that your bed, but more specifically your room, is your safe space. And if you guys aren't discussing what is okay and what's not okay in terms of prank and content, what made this guy feel so comfortable to enter someone's room while they weren't at the home and then putting spoiled milk on their bed? He was not only vandalizing someone's property, but he was going into someone's safe space without their permission. Generally speaking, bro, that's just not content. I would be upset myself, because why are you going into my safe space when I'm not there and then just ruining my bed? And then here's what makes it even worse, because when you do some dickhead stuff, when someone crashes out, that's when they say it's just a prank, bro. And that's why this war content is a low-hanging fruit, because you can already
Because I would say, like, they do stuff like that all the time. I mean, I feel what he's saying and whatnot. They do stuff like that all the time though, but like that was more so like AMP doing stuff like that. But yeah, I know somebody like Dezz ain't gonna mess with that.
tell that Clover is not having no conversations prior to these pranks being done what everyone is comfortable with. Niggas are just having an all-for-one, free-for-all prank war where they're trying to one-up their last spectacle. Also, they can appease faceless and nameless individuals on the internet. And because they're getting paid money, it's all getting enabled. But this is all stuff I've talked about, so I'm not gonna go into a long tangent. And following this, Dezz did come back to the crib, and he was upset with what happened to his bed. And while Khalil was on some sort of Omegle/monkey app clone, Dezz started tripping and tweaking, but in my opinion, he was justified because that was a weird thing to do.
I ain't gonna lie, yo, chat. Yo, listen, bro, I love y'all, bro. Do you want money? Do you want money? Alright, but do you want money? Alright, do you want money? Alright. Do you want money? Alright, but do you want money? I'm saying though, do you want money? Do you want money? So how
That dude probably went home thinking like, oh, I'm about to lay down and go to sleep, bro. It's been a long day, and then he fucking goes in his room, smells spoiled milk, and sees it just laying in his bed. It probably got worse after sitting there for like as long as it did. To be real with you, or unless he did it before Dez came home or whatever. But yeah, with that being said, like, I already know that dude was pissed, bro.
So what are you calling me? Yo, but you know, KC3. You know KC3 was in the chat telling me to do it, right? It's a joke. It's a joke. You so mad. It's a joke. It's a joke. Like that. Word of my mother, you do. Alright, bet.
It's just the same playbook. This guy is saying it's just a joke, and then he tried to kind of offshoot the responsibility to cenat because cenat was in the chat egging him on. But at the end of the day, he poured the spoiled milk on his bed, so you have to take accountability. And Khalil seems like a kind of hard-headed individual. I don't really know him, but just based off of this clip, because instead of just trying to take a second to listen to what was making Dez upset, he was just listening to respond. He was listening to defend himself instead of understanding why this guy is angry in the first place. And as someone that jokes around,
like, I understand where Dez is coming from, because like, you don't just go into somebody's room and do something like that. Like, that's his stuff, that's his property. That really shouldn't be getting touched to begin with. It really shouldn't. But if they're doing like a little prank wars or something like that, I mean, go do a prank wars. They need to have like rules, like, hey, y'all could do that with anybody you want. Like, Dez should have told them. He probably did tell them something like that before, but his room still got, invaded and got some spoiled milk poured on it. But bro, yeah, that's just what happens in them content houses, bro. Did he lock his door? That's what I would have did. I would always lock my door. But yeah, that shouldn't have happened.
A lot and can get carried away. I understand why you have a knee-jerk reaction to say, well, I was just joking. But when you instantly dismiss someone's feelings with, I was just joking, you don't take the time to actually understand what they're feeling. Especially because at the end of the day, when it comes to these situations where you hurt people, you have to understand both the intent and the impact. Even if the intent wasn't something that was malicious, the impact still very much exists. And the impact it had on Dez was that it bothered him. But this guy was so focused on defending himself and so focused on saying, it's just a joke, he couldn't even see that, and that's what makes that hella immature. I'm telling y'all this as someone who can get carried away with joking, and seeing this situation is resonating with me because I'm trying to fix that aspect about myself. You don't want to dismiss someone even by accident just by saying it's just a joke. And following this interaction, Tylil stepped in to educate Khalil on where he went wrong, and I guess I'm just gonna let you guys see what happened because he still just displays this hard-headed inability to take accountability and to see where he was wrong. And there's even a little bit of deflection here.
I'm not talking to him, bro. You do spoil you. Okay, I was not buy a whole new bed. It's not about the whole new bed or payment. Okay, I will buy it. It's disrespectful. Yo, Kai was in the chat. It's disrespectful. Kai does not live here. It's disrespectful. Let me tell you. This is Kai crib. As a young man. As a young man, stop touching me, gang. You want to do that shit from contact? Listen. As a young man. Do you not remember? As a young man. Is a
Hey, why y'all think Kai was instigating? If that's true, if he was gassing up like his brother to do all that, why you think he was you think he was doing it? You think he thought it was like he was just trying to start shit up, or do you think like he didn't think he'll get this serious for real? Like, bro, comment that down below. But to be honest, bro, I'm gonna be honest. I think he knew what this would do. Like, he knew he was just trying to instigate something real quick.
It's respecting his boundaries, gang. It's respecting his boundaries. Yes. So when niggas throw milk, ketchup, and when niggas would violate, so when it's respecting his boundaries.
He's saying, and he's also saying that people did something to him too. So, I mean, if they're having a little prank war, I feel like it's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know, bro. Let me listen a little bit more. Let me rewind it a little bit first.
Listen. As a young man, do you not remember? As a young man, it's respecting his boundaries, gang. This is a quick. It's respecting his boundaries. It's respecting his boundaries, gang. It's respecting his boundaries. Yes. So when niggas throw milk, ketchup, and when niggas would violate, so when it's respecting his boundaries.
I also understand Dez if he been said something like, yo, don't go in my room when I'm not in there. Don't go in my room. Like, do not enter my room for no reason whatsoever, especially when I'm not there. I also understand that. And I also understand that a lot more. Like, people have their boundaries and stuff. You never know. So it's like, it's just one of them things where, like, yeah, bro, shit got out of proportion.
Okay, so Tylil tries to iron that point out that what he did was disrespectful. And first he starts by saying, well, it's a content crib, so I should be able to do it. But just because you're in a content house with people doesn't mean you just get free reigns to do whatever, bro. Because everyone still has boundaries, everyone can still say they're not comfortable with that, and everyone can still say no. And then when he sees that that's not breaking through to Tylil, then he starts saying, well, it's boundaries until it happens to me. And here's the thing, bro, if you felt bothered, why did you not speak up? Why are you only now speaking up about you being bothered about certain things that are being done to you after you go and violate someone? He's literally violating. You went into someone's room when they weren't here, you poured spoiled milk on their bed, and then when you get checked and pressed about it, then you want to say it's a content crib. You're not talking about none. And that's just incredibly backwards thinking, because like I said before, he's not listening to understand, he's just listening to respond. And he's clearly a little content brain. You can't label everything under the blanket term of content and then just get away with any actions. That's how you become the next Jack Doherty, that's how you become the next Johnny Somali. Not everything is content, nor can you label anything as content just to get away with it. You can still do things that bother people, you can still do things that people feel disrespected by. And one thing I would definitely feel disrespected by is if you poured spoiled milk onto my bed. And if Khalil felt disrespected by the things that were being done unto him, he should have spoke up. But here's the thing, he's getting swept away by the content wave. He's literally getting lost in the content sauce. And only now that people are responding negatively to the things he's doing is he now wanting to speak up about the things that bothered him. And that's corny and low-key a little pussy. Because bro, you need to speak up if you feel some way. You need to speak up if that bothers you. You can't just do anything to anyone and then get mad when people are now checking.
Yeah, I feel it. Like, it sounds like he's been pranked before, and he got him. He maybe did his get back, got his get back or whatever. But the way he did it was probably overstepping boundaries. So I understand where the creator and people like Dezz are coming from, and everybody else that was checking him. It makes a little bit more sense. But shoot, yeah, like, see, some people just they need to stay out of that like content, bro. Like, a lot of people, they'll get a little bit sucked into this content too much to the point to where they do get lost in the sauce in a way. That do happen, but at the end of the day, that doesn't excuse what he did. Like, yeah, he needs to understand that before like he starts streaming on here, and he starts getting into a lot of situations with people. Yeah, you don't want none of that.
Saying, well, you did it to me. Dezz was literally not in his home. He was not in his room. And after this, Tylil, trying to prove the point that you can't just say everything is content, decided to tie up Khalil, and then he let Rakai pour water on him. And this was the catalyst to every event that happens after this.
I'm gonna tell you this. Remember who got a fight.
You are my lady.
Remember who got a fight.
Off to a shot. Said don't be shy, don't be shy, don't be free, don't be shy.
Tylil, you're 30 years old.
How did he get him like that, bro?
30 years old.
It's just content, right?
And playing with
This is a.
Damn.
He not lying.
Why are we bullying him?
And don't get me wrong, I understand that Tylil is trying to prove a point here, but they have him in some sort of medieval torture setup just to prove it. But this is ultimately what content brain leads to. You get all your limbs duct taped together, and then you get humiliated and water poured on you in front of thousands of people. And if Khalil wasn't so busy trying to defend himself by saying it's just a joke, it's just content, it's just a prank, he would have understood where he was wrong. But they had to low bro him and show him the hard way. And after Khalil escaped, he went on a little crash out tour. I'm just let y'all look.
Get him.
Oh shoot. Oh my god, dude.
Watch. Now watch.
Is that a real axe or is that like just a prop thing? Damn. Yeah, it's that prop. Bro.
I bet.
Oh my god, the dude can't even break the door. Not the setup, no. That's crazy. That's all bad, bro.
Clearly his identity and his masculinity felt threatened, because he then goes on to showcase this overt display of aggression. And honestly, it's really corny because this is a grown-ass man. It's corny, but it's also kind of funny.
You couldn't
because I
even break
was
the door,
giggling a
man.
little watching this clip, seeing a grown man getting besides himself. But for all the men watching this, the moment you let your anger take control of you like this, and the moment you lose your composure, you are no longer in control. And this is just a little side note, but I feel like this is all modern masculinity is. It's just this weird display of aggression. It's this weird performance. This is not masculinity. This is just a man-child having a fit of rage and then crashing out in front of a bunch of individuals on the internet. This is not becoming of a man. And I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but this is the type of masculinity that is pedestalized in the media, and I am going to be in counter to it. I want to be the antithesis of that, because you can showcase masculinity that isn't aggression. You can showcase masculinity that isn't built on performing for other men or people. A great display of masculinity would have been for him to take accountability, seen where he was wrong, owned up to it, and apologized to Dezz immediately. But instead, he had to get lil bro'd just to be shown that not everything is content, and he crashes out in response to it. So I don't feel bad. And what makes it worse is that he ends up fighting the youngest person there in Retaliation. He doesn't fight Tylil, he doesn't fight Dezz, he fights Rakai. So now I'm gonna show y'all this clip.
But the youngest one?
You think you is? He's content. You feel like it? Stop playing with me, bro.
Yeah, see, this whole thing just went out of proportion now. Now everybody in this gonna be having the whole little prank war, content war, and now it's all yeah. Now I understand the title, bro.
Look at me like, oh my god, look at me like that, bro.
And obviously I'm on Rakai's side, because the person whose setup he broke was Rakai. Rakai wasn't just gonna let that slide, and the whole reason he broke the setup is because he was being immature. And yes, they poured water on him, but y'all gotta understand, prior to him getting the water poured on him, he poured spoiled milk on someone's bed who wasn't even in the home at the time. He was
Why didn't you go after any of Tylil stuff? Like, that dude probably was the one who tied you up. You know? Yeah, but like, what the hell? I'm not gonna lie, Kelo. Like, you did go like a little too far, bro. You went a little too far. Should have like thought about it. You crossed boundaries a little bit.
being ignorant, he's being hard-headed. He was being taught the lesson in the hard way, because had he taken accountability, I doubt they would have got the get back. It was all them being a little petty, yeah, but ultimately in my own
That too, like he should have just you know, took accountability, you know, admitted like, yeah, what I did was wrong, I shouldn't have did that, my fault, you know, I'll make it up, or I'll wash the mess, something like that. You shouldn't have like been doing all that. I get it, it's for content and stuff like that, but when you're really pissing people off, you're really getting people mad, and you're really making them hate you on stream just for like a little clip, don't have those people around you for real. Like, yeah, so I understand where Dezz is coming from, where everybody in that crib is coming from, but it went out of proportion when they did that get back. And then now, like, you got Kai's brother fighting Rakai. And it sounds like Rakai's getting hurt in that clip. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
life, I've come to realize that people will continue messing with you, and they will continue doing weird things unless you show them a consequence. And a consequence for what Khalil did was that he got water poured on him. And y'all can say I'm crazy all you want, but niggas will get away with what they know they can get away with. And when you show people that you're a pushover, they will take advantage of that. Not everybody, but there are people that will do that. And another little side note, that's why I went so hard on the Jadeon situation, because grown men like that, big influencers like that, they will try to stomp on you. They will try to strong arm you. You need to stand your ground, and you need to show them that you are not someone that will be messed with. That doesn't mean you can't give people grace, but if people are still messing with you or being weird, you need to show them. And that's how I feel. Now I want y'all to see Khalil's response and him being a grown-ass man.
Yo, chat, I know y'all probably gonna say, oh, Kelo for pouring shit on his bed. So I'm gonna get the man his sheets, feel me? I'm gonna head back to New York. And that's probably the dead of it. What about my mother? I ain't gonna lie, I don't wanna say too much. I'm gonna just conclude by saying, like, no funny shit. I feel like a nigga to get that mad over sheets is never on content, and that shouldn't be something that's around a bunch of people that's trying to make content in a content crib. You feel me? So I'm gonna be a grown ass man. For me, I'm gonna get him these sheets, whatever, and then I'm gonna dip up out of there.
So I'll give Khalil his flowers for being willing to replace Dezz's sheets, but you're not being a grown man because you're not taking accountability, nor are you seeing what you did for what it was. Dezz was angry because you entered his space without permission and you violated it. Not everything's content, and you can't use content as a shield from disrespect, bro. All you're doing is just coming across as dismissing someone's feelings under the guise of, oh, he's taking stuff too seriously. I'm not even a Dezz fan. I think the dude's a weirdo. But the behavior Khalil's showing exists outside of streaming in the content creator space. What he is showing you guys is exactly who he is. He's putting content over understanding others, and I just think that's personal.
If somebody makes it very well known and clear that they don't like their stuff being no one really likes anybody going in their room when they not there, and even in general. So like when you're over here like going in their room and doing stuff like that for content, like just for content, and you trying to use that as an excuse or as a way to like, you know, cover yourself up or whatever, that's kind of like petty in my book. I feel like, you know, he should have, you know, already known not to. Yeah, like, bro, a lot of this shit shouldn't have got out of hand the way it did, but yeah, that's just how it is, bro, when it comes to this stuff.
And then he posted a screenshot of him and Rakai on FaceTime to signify that they're good. But in my opinion, it just felt like this dude copped a plea deal. I don't even think he really understood where he went wrong, but I guess that's just him. And now finally, I want to show y'all Dezz's response to the situation and why he crashed out. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense to me.
But you want to paint me like I'm a bad guy. No, tell the truth in this world. It's a lot of funny and weird behind the scenes that go on this content in this crib. They goofy, gang. Stop trying me. Stop playing with me, gang. I respect this. I protect this. I never neglect goofy, gang. I'm telling y'all, I don't care about the L's, about none of that shit. I don't care about the weird. I don't care about none of that shit. I swear to God, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I literally don't care anymore, bro. I literally understand it's all like simulation, gang. I literally sit here and like manipulate like I'm on some up shit. I'm not a individual, gang, at all, gang. I don't touch the yo, my nigga. Y'all niggas knew I couldn't come to Clover Crib for 2 months. I couldn't come to Clover Crib for 2 months because I was in his feelings, you heard? I couldn't come to Clover Crib for 2 months. My camera, my mic.
Based off of what Dezz is saying, it seems like they got him in the Matrix hell. They got him in a simulation hell, bro. He's saying there's weird stuff going on behind the scenes. He says he wasn't in the crib for 2 months, and he's saying that people were stealing his cameras and his stuff while he was gone.
Okay, that makes sense. So he came back home to find that, and that a bunch of his stuff was getting stolen. People were going in his room without permission. Now this is more understandable. There we go. Like, and like Kelo shouldn't have been doing none of that stuff. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I know where he's coming from now. You know, it makes a lot of sense. And to be honest, bro, like you shouldn't be doing stuff like that, especially when people like, bro, that's a little bit too far.
Clearly, there's more to the story, and clearly there's some underlying issues and resentment that needs to be addressed. But you know how that stuff can't be addressed? When someone is constantly saying, it's just content, it's just content. But I'm not here to investigate all the little stuff. I've already said my piece, and I think it's pretty obvious that Khalil is in the wrong. You can't invade someone's space, disrespect it, and then be surprised when they start tripping. And then when people try to tell you what you're doing is wrong, you can't just say, well, it's just content, it's just a joke, we're in a content house. And then finally, when you're being a quote-unquote grown-ass man and trying to replace the sheets, you can't try to dismiss someone further by saying, well, he's being too serious, and how can you be in a content house if you're getting this mad over some sheets? That's just weird, unserious behavior, and I wouldn't want to be around someone like that, so I definitely understand where Dezz is coming from. And that doesn't even factor in the whole simulation stuff he's talking about. He's saying niggas treat him so crazy it feel like a fake world. That's some Truman Show shit, man. With that being said, not everything's content. Content brain is poisoning the youth part. Who knows? And I mean, that's really all I had to say. So subscribe for more unsolicited opinions. I love you all.
Yeah, man, y'all give your thoughts down below. Leave a like and subscribe. But yeah, I think that, you know, Kelo was wrong, and I'm pretty sure everyone feels that way too. I mean, I feel the little points he was trying to make, but at the end of the day, like, you gotta understand that if you can't cross boundaries, you can't go into people's stuff, and especially when they ain't home. And it sounds like a lot of the people in that crib was going in that dude's room, taking his stuff and doing all type of stuff. So he probably came home to find out, like, bro, what the his crib was messed up. Or no, he probably came back home to find out that, like, you know, a lot of stuff was going on in his room. A lot of stuff had been going on in his room, and it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, don't do that stuff. But that's about it. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.